Now, about 2 weeks ago, Tony Khan, the president and owner of All Elite Wrestling, presented Sting with a gift. And that gift was the debut of wrestling legend, one of the first ballot Hall of Famers, one of the first ballot members of pro wrestling's Mount Rushmore, in my opinion. The Nature Boy, Ric Flair, made his AEW debut. This after Sting pretty much announced that he was going to be retiring from in-ring competition. He was going to be retiring from professional wrestling at Revolution in February or March of 2024. And be that as it may, my first thought when Ric Flair got out there was, oh no. It was, oh no, because as much as I love the Nature Boy, as much as I love Ric Flair, what he's done for the business, he's one of the greatest of all time. That cannot be argued. That cannot be disputed. He has a tendency for wanting to get back into the ring every single time. It doesn't really matter how old he is. It doesn't really matter how beat up he actually is when it comes to his body and his age and everything. It doesn't really matter. The Nature Boy wants to be a part of the action. He said it himself. Hell, about a year and a half ago, he had his last match ever. And they promoted that so very hard to the point that people actually went to that event and actually believed that that was his last match. And for all intents and purposes, I hope it really is. But with the Nature Boy, you never know, because before that, prior to that, his last match was in 2011 in TNA Wrestling in a soundstage. This about 3 years after WWE gave him the perfect, absolute perfect send-off at WrestleMania 24 in Orlando against one of the best performers in professional wrestling history, in sports entertainment history, Shawn Michaels. WrestleMania 24, that goodbye was cinematic. That was the perfect way to end the Nature Boy's career, and Ric Flair refused, I'm pretty sure he still refuses, to finally hang those boots up. So at some point in time, I have to believe at this point, he's gonna ask Tony Khan, he's gonna ask AEW officials, let me get back in the squared circle. Let me perform one last time. Let the fans be able to say that All Elite Wrestling had Ric Flair's final match, official match. Have their fans be able to say, hey, we saw Ric Flair wrestle in AEW. AEW had the privilege of having the Nature Boy wrestle in their ring. That's a given. To me, that's going to happen no matter what. But my biggest fear is Tony Khan actually giving in to that. And if that actually does happen, I'm not going to say I might be done with AEW, but I will definitely not take AEW as seriously as I am doing right now, as I have been doing since its start. Because even though it's theatrics, even though it's acting, even though it's sports entertainment at its best when it comes to AEW, TNA, WWE, New Japan, Ring of Honor, whatever you want to call it, even though it's a combination of athleticism with theatrics, you still need to be at the top of your game, in-ring wise, physically wise, health wise, to be able to step into that squared circle, to be able to tell the fans and have them believe, have them hold their disbelief to what is going on in the middle of that ring. It's just ridiculous at this point. And I don't want to say this because, again, Ric Flair is a legend of this business. Back in NWA, back in WCW, his early years in WWE. He should have retired. He should have ended his career at WrestleMania 24. That was it. Perfect send-off. Well, that didn't happen. And again, this also has to do with AEW's over-reliance on bringing back older legends. I mean, Ric Flair's not the first one. They've had Sting. He's past his prime. Jeff Jarrett, he's still wrestling past his prime. Jake the Snake Roberts, manager, didn't really work out. Arn Anderson, manager, didn't work out. How many times are you going to try this and it's not going to work out? Especially when, I've said this before and I'll say it again, you have some of the best young, up-and-coming talent in the business, if not the best. Because current main event stars in WWE are 35 plus, about to hit their 40s, and they're in the main events, and they're doing amazing performances. But your younger stars, AEW, are in their mid-20s, late 20s, early 30s. Build them up. Don't make the same damn mistake TNA did by having AJ Styles and Samoa Joe, who should have been running that company from 2005 to 2015 pretty much, by having them be in the background and give Sting, Kurt Angle, and all the ex-WWE guys, all these legends, the limelight, the spotlight. Don't do that. Don't make that same mistake. And again, I'm ranting here at this point, but I'm just trying to say this. Ric Flair, I hope he doesn't wrestle in AEW. I hope Tony Khan doesn't give in, even though he has given in so many times over the past few years, and they'll do anything to boost up the viewership. That's been proven. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. As far as tonight goes, Dynamite, Wednesday night Dynamite, they have a tremendous show, wrestling-wise, in-ring-wise. Not really anything storyline going for them, not far, or at least they haven't really delved into the Devil storyline, which I'm really interested in. But that's mainly because Adam Cole is currently injured. So with that said, what are your thoughts on Ric Flair's debut in AEW? Do you think he's going to wrestle at some point in an AEW ring? Do you think Tony Khan's going to give in? Or do you think he's just there to be at Sting's side for his last final run in professional wrestling? Leave your thoughts, comments, and predictions in the comment section below. In the meantime, tune in later on tonight to TBS for another episode of Wednesday Night Dynamite Live. I'm Alexis Carrillo. This has been Wrestling Talk, and I'll see you next time.